All right, 8th grade, welcome back. We are on Progress Report 9, April 3rd, at the bottom of page 289. Dr. Strauss showed me how to keep the TV turned low so now I can sleep. I don't hear a thing. And I still don't understand what it says. A few times I play it over in the morning to find out what I learned when I was sleeping, and I don't think so. Miss Kinnian says maybe it's another language or something, but most times it sounds American. It talks so fast, faster than even Miss Gold, who was my teacher in 6th grade. And I remember she talked so fast I couldn't understand her. I told Dr. Strauss, what good is it to get smart in my sleep? I want to be smart when I'm awake. He says it's the same thing, and I have two minds. There's the subconscious and the conscious. That's how you spell it. And one don't tell the other what it's doing. They don't even talk to each other. That's why I dream. And boy, I've been having crazy dreams. Wow. Ever since that night TV, the late show. I forgot to ask him if it was only me or if everybody had those two minds. I just looked up the word in the dictionary Dr. Strauss gave me. The word is subconscious, adjective, of the nature of mental operations, yet not present in consciousness, as subconscious conflict of desires. There's more, but I still don't know what it means. This isn't a very good dictionary for dumb people like me. Pause for a second and write what you think the subconscious is and what the conscious is, and what does it mean to have two minds like that. If you don't know, think about the difference between dreaming and in your awake state. What are those two different minds that you have in that circumstance? Okay. Pause for a second and come back. All right, welcome back. Anyway, the headache is from the party. My friends from the factory, Joe Carp and Frank Riley, invited me to go with them to Muggsy's saloon for some drinks. I don't like to drink, but they said, we will have lots of fun. I had a good time. Joe Carp says I should show the girls how to mop out the toilet in the factory, and he got me a mop. I showed them, and everyone laughed when I told that Mr. Donegan said I was the best janitor he ever had because I like my job and do it good and never come late or miss a day except for my operation. I said, Miss Kinney and always said, Charlie, be proud of your job because you do it good. Everybody laughed and we had a good time, and they gave me lots of drinks, and Joe said Charlie is a card when he's potted. Potted means drunk. I don't know what that means, but everybody likes me, and we have fun. I can't wait to be smart like my best friends, Joe Carp and Frank Riley. Now remember we talked about dramatic irony. Do we really think that these are Charlie's best friends? Does Charlie know that they're maybe not his best friends? How do we know that they're not actually his friends? Go ahead and put a little star next to where you think gives us an indication of that. Okay, continuing on. I don't remember how the party was over, but I think I went out to buy newspaper and coffee for Joe and Frank, and when I came back, there was no one there. I looked for them all over till late. Then I don't remember so good, but I think I got sleepy or sick. A nice cop brought me back home. That's what my landlady, Mrs. Flynn, says. But I got a headache and a big lump on my head and black and blue all over. I think maybe I fell, but Joe Carp says it was the cop. They beat up drunks, sometimes. I don't think so. Miss Kinnian says cops are here to help people. Anyway, I got a bad headache and I'm sick and hurt all over. I don't think I'll drink anymore. All right. April 6th. Let's see how Charlie is changing over time after his operation. I beat Algernon. I didn't even know I beat him until Bert the tester told me. Then the second time I lost because I got so excited I fell off the chair before I finished. But after that, I beat him 8 more times. I must be getting smart to beat a smart mouse like Algernon, but I don't feel smarter. I wanted to race Algernon some more, but Bert said that's enough for one day. They let me hold him for a minute. He's not so bad. He's soft like a ball of cotton. He blinks, and when he opens his eyes, they're black and pink on the edges. I said I can feed him because I felt so bad to beat him. I wanted to be nice and make friends. Bert said, no, Algernon is a very special mouse with an operation like mine, and he was the first of all the animals to stay smart so long. He told me Algernon is so smart that every day he has to solve a test to get his food. It's a thing like a lock on a door that changes every time Algernon goes in to eat, so he has to learn something new to get his food. That made me sad because if he couldn't learn, he would be hungry. I don't think it's right to make you pass a test to eat. How would Dr. Niemer like it to have to pass a test every time he wants to eat? I think I'll be friends with Algernon. Okay, pause for a second and just jot in the margin. Why do you think Charlie's attitude towards Algernon is changing? And what is that attitude now? All right, welcome back. Hopefully you figured out why is Charlie's attitude towards the mouse Algernon changing. Hopefully you wrote something about how maybe they have more in common than Charlie thought at the beginning. Okay, let's go to April 9th. Tonight after work, Miss Kinnian was at the laboratory. She looked like she was glad to see me but scared. I told her, don't worry, Miss Kinnian, I'm not smart yet, and she laughed. She said, I have confidence in you, Charlie, the way you struggled so hard to read and write better than all the others. At worst, you will have it for a little while, and you're doing something for science. We are reading a very hard book. I've never read such a hard book before. It's called Robinson Crusoe, about a man who gets marooned on a desert island. He's smart and figures out all kinds of things so he can have a house and food, and he's a good swimmer. Only I feel sorry because he's all alone and he has no friends. But I think there must be somebody else on the island because there's a picture with this funny umbrella looking at footprints. I hope he gets a friend and not be lonely. April 10th. Miss Kinnian teaches me to spell better. She says, look at a word and close your eyes and say it over and over until you remember. I have lots of trouble with through, that you say through, and enough and tough, that you don't say in you and to. You got to say enough and tough. That's how I used to write it before I started to get smart. I'm confused, but Miss Kinnian says there's no reason in spelling, which is true. Miss Dodd does not like spelling. Okay. Finish Robinson Crusoe. I want to find out more about what happens to him, but Miss Kinnian says that's all there is. Why? So how is he changing now that he's reading books? Pause your video for a second and just jot in the margin, how is Charlie changing now that he's been reading Robinson Crusoe? What was different about him now? What is he starting to question or think about the world? Okay, welcome back. All right, April 15th. Miss Kinnian says I'm learning fast. She read some of the progress reports and she looked at me kind of funny. She says I'm a fine person and I'll show them all. I asked her why. She said, never mind, but I shouldn't feel bad if I find out everybody isn't nice like I think. She said for a person who God gave so little to, you done more than a lot of people with brains they never even used. I said, all my friends are smart people, but they're good. They like me and they never did anything that wasn't nice. Then she got something in her eye and she had to run out to the ladies' room. Pause your video for a second and ask yourself, why do you think Miss Kinnian ran out to the ladies' room when Charlie said everybody was nice? Do you think that Miss Kinnian knew something that Charlie didn't? If so, pause the video, write that down into the margin, and go on to the next video when you're done.